Hello? Oh, now it's working. I don't know why it was broken. Sorry about that. Sorry about that again. Let me see. With that a bit. Test. Hello. Thank you. Let me make a tweet. And then I just need to... What did I need to do? I forgot. Maybe I'll remember later. Is my sound fine now? I hope so. Test. Yips. Okay. Well, today my plan is to make some lore. I haven't really thought about the lore of my of the oceans in my world that much yet, and there's many people who are gonna have many interactions with it soon. So I thought there's no better time than to have a look at it now. Wondering how I should do it to show anything for the stream, because now you're just looking at the Roll20, and I'm gonna be writing most of it in my notes. But let me think. I guess I can. Wait, let me. I might plug in my drawing pad so I can have some places to show. It's a bit farther. Perfect. And then put this like that. Put this to the side. Wait, probably you can't hear me. It's fine, don't worry. We have time. There's no need to panic. This might lag everything a little bit. I'm not sure though. And then a pencil. I don't remember where I put my drawing pencil. It's probably an important thing. Should be around here somewhere. I swear my desk is really really organized. That's the word. I know I'm talking far away from the mic now. I'm just mumbling. Don't worry about it. I'll be there soon. Probably should have done this before I started the stream, but it's fine. There's no need to worry. This isn't the best. Fuck. Is that it? Nope. If I was a pencil, where would I be? I remember thinking like, oh, I should put this somewhere safe, somewhere where I can't lose it easily. Well, this is all fucked. Ground. This is not going great so far. One second, I'll be right back. Just look at this for a bit. I have found it. Do not worry. All is well. No. Wow. Okay. How am I doing? Why is everything... Oh. Things are lagging. It's not a great sign. It's fine, but okay. Let me open Illustrator, I'm thinking. I really think I should have done all of this before I started the stream, but that's something to worry about next time. We learn every day. There we go. There we go. Create new. Wait, actually. Okay, we're liking. I'm just gonna go with this. It's creating. It's doing it. Okay, and then we will just put this somewhere. Desktop. We will have to find what we are looking for. There we go. That's it. Got a bit bigger, a bit less weird. Okay, and then we will share Illustrator, if I can do that. How does one do that? Turn off this. We turn off this. Then we add this. We add something. Maybe window. Illustrator. Okay. Yes. There we go. Fuck, that's really big. I'll be coming back soon. Oh, I could even just put everything like this, so you don't have to see how bad I'm at Illustrator. Sounds like a good idea. Okay. Then we will just put that here. Perfect. We have done it. And now this should work. Wait, it's not working. Oh, maybe because it's not. Can I make this full screen? Is that gonna break it? Full screen. No? Okay. Guess not. That's fine, that's fine. Don't worry. I'll put this here. I'm gonna put this here. And we'll put this here. And if we go to the left, we have chat. If we go to the right, we have notes. Go to the middle, we can draw some things. Nice. My only wish is that somehow I can see the chat at the same time. I don't think that's gonna be possible. Wait, what about my sound? Is this fine? Test. Where's my stream even? Let me make this full screen too. And then we'll put that over there. Oh. Hello? Yeah, that seems... When I'm talking here, can you... I mean, that seems fine. Maybe? Yes? Okay. Let's begin. So, the area that we are going to be focusing is... let me put the music a little bit more quiet, because I can't think. There we go. The area that I'm going to be focusing is the area all of my players are in right now, which is the area around Helen. Helen is this island, well, is the middle of those islands over here. Yes. Helen is the middle of the island group over here. I know this is very badly drawn, don't worry about it. A friend of mine is going to make a better version of it eventually, which will look amazing, I'm sure. But for now, this is what I have to work with, which is fine. It shows what I need, for now at least. So what I'm going to be working on today is basically the societies, the people, the creatures, whatever has been happening in these oceans around Helen, and maybe these as well, for probably the last... let me look at my notes. Probably the last 900 years, since after the war between gods and men. Yeah, I think that's where we are going to work on, because any time before that is not really discovered yet by my players. They know there was a war. They don't know its cause, they don't know why it is that men and gods fought at this moment. All they know is there was a war, and after that greater forces of magic have come to the world. And it is in that world that my players exist. It is that world that they research, that they find their magic within, that they find their clerical powers within. But everything is still a bit wild as the world is new, which is basically an excuse because I'm a pretty new DM for anything my players do, to kind of give it a bit more leeway, because I don't know all the rules exactly, and often this makes it just easier. Like, oh, I want to do this, and I'm like, oh, that sounds cool, okay, I'll look into it, and then I make some homebrew things, I look how it actually would work, and then most of the time it eventually becomes a combination of both of them, where in the beginning it's a little bit overpowered, and then later on it becomes a bit more stable. Hey, Kingly Boo. I was just talking about, well, the beginnings of my world, basically, or the world that the players are in now, which is the world that I am going to be talking about today, or that I'm going to be expanding upon today. Thanks.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
I forgot I have that sound effect that actually scared me. Oh, there's like 2 different notifications. I don't know if I don't know what's happening. I'm great at streaming. It's fine. Light is fine. He don't worry about him. That's true, Kingly. You prefer I call you Kingly Boo or Kingly or Boo? You can choose. I should do something about the notifications though. I thought it's fixed, but turns out it's broken. It's fine. I'll worry about it another time. I'll do it off stream. But anyway, yeah. So the world, as I was saying, what I will be working on today is basically the lore that has happened between in the last around 1,000 years within the oceans of my world. Since any time before that, my players don't know about yet. So we'll be focusing on the points that they have heard some rumors about. Of course, they don't know all of the lore yet, but I would like to expand upon this. Yeah, so I think a good place to start is to see where they were at before the war was ended. So at the beginning, I won't go into what the people of the oceans, like the creatures or the societies within it, what their role was within these wars, because I think that's lore that my players will have to discover, and that I have already a kind of vague idea of, and that just doesn't really matter that much at this point. Yeah, so I think we'll start at the end of this war, where everything is kind of going back to normal structures, to normal societies, those kind of things. When the metal monster with the tavern brawler feed unarmed fighting style, couple levels in monk for unarmed. That sounds awesome. Well, which lines? Which lines don't add up? What do you mean? Of my greatly drawn map? You mean the lines don't add up? I don't know what you're talking about. I'm a very organized DM. Well, anyway, so yes, I think what I was kind of thinking of is that the society underwater, it's kind of evolved from being this like rampant, almost uncivilized place into a more structured society over time, where like these creatures like mermaids over time maybe evolved into creatures that are more similar to tritons and stuff like that, where they are more humanoid and have actual structure instead of just being these monsters that want to eat people. I think both of them still exist within the world nowadays, but probably there's like a faction of them, or multiple factions of them, that split off and all kind of evolved in their own ways, eventually coming to the now, where there's a more or less stable structure around one leader, which is Proteus, a man my players also don't know that much about yet, but that's worry for later. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. I'm thinking. So as I said before, the focus will be only around Helen, for now at least, which is the island in the middle. So yeah, let's see how we do this. By the way, if anyone has any input, feel free to let me know. I love hearing new ideas from other people as well, so if you can think of something cool, I would love to interpret it. What is the word? Integrate it, steal it. I mean, I won't steal it word for word. I mean, I can create my own ideas from it. I'd love to hear people's inputs. But yeah, let me think. Falling. Well, to know the factions, I think we'll have to start with the main creatures that roam, the main groups of creatures that roam the sea. So we have okay, I guess I can, where's the, there we go, I can just put this here, probably make things a bit easier instead of having to write it. F there we go, it's a bit slow. Factions year, what's the year? 25925. Year 0, just make it simple. So I think in year 0 to 100 we have wild sea, wild ocean creatures gather under various faction leaders, maybe creatures of immense power. Think eldritch cults, think krakens, think mer, folk, etc. I think that's a good start. I'm just realizing there's no way all of this text is gonna fit into one of these things. That's okay. I can do a bit of zooming. There we go. Perfect. Now, do I want to limit myself to writing this out word for word, or do I want to keep this vague, like there's just multiple factions in the beginning? I think the second one will be better, because if I say like, oh, there's one faction with the Eldritch cults, and then one faction with the Krakens, and then one with the mermaids, and that's it. That's the three factions that rule. Then, and then, well, say my players ever play or go back to that time or whatever, we do a one shot in that time, or maybe there's a remnant of those factions now. I think it's just more interesting if I can, especially for these early days, if I can kind of make that up along the way instead of thinking about it now already. Feeling that seems like a waste of time. It could be nice to maybe see the main powers that rule the sea, then to see which, maybe not necessarily the factions, but just to see how the main influences of the ocean changed over time. I think that could be interesting. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah. So biggest influences would be Eldritch. Well, let me think. No, I don't think the Eldritch cult had a big influence in the beginning, since that's more something that's been brewing up recently. I think the biggest influence is just gonna be the biggest creature, so yeah, I think I'll just write it like that. Biggest creatures. Biggest and strongest. Survival of the fittest. Think that makes sense. Yeah. And I think those creatures just kind of roam everywhere in those seas. I don't think we need to put any specific places for that or write down any more specifics than this is for those early days of after the war. I think if you would go in the waters, then you just have to hope that there's no krakens luring on the coast. There's no creatures waiting to devour innocent or non-innocent men. Yep. So a bit louder. Okay, well, let's go to the next era, which would be, I think, more structurized factions, like you know, in Spore, how like after you go through the creature phase, you go to the next phase. I think that's like I think that's where we're at. I feel like the structure of Spore is pretty fitting in this situation. Like they go from just strongest animal, and then they have the tools, and then they go to cities, and then they go to space, which is not gonna happen here, but yeah. Yeah, so I think 101 to... probably to like 500 we have factions become more prominent and focus more on intelligent creatures. Because eventually these krakens, these giant creatures of the deep, they might gain somewhat of a following, somewhat of a reverence around them, but they're not intelligent enough to really try to keep anyone around them, and eventually there would be someone strong enough to defeat these creatures, which would give him the power to really, well, shine as a... to give him the power to do what? I think just to become a leader for these people who were always intelligent, probably, but only now are really figuring out what to do with that and finding the means to do something with that, since the same magic that has infested or...
It was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
Oh, thank you, Patty Chaos. Sorry for the 2 alerts. I still don't know why it's happening, but thanks for following. What was I saying? Yeah, because these creatures are intelligent instead of just being these brutish deep sea creatures. That will make a big difference pretty fast, and people will start flocking around around these leaders, who will probably be mostly wizards or sorcerers, or at least, I mean, in those times they wouldn't be known as that. It would probably mostly be wild magic that they control, or some kind of eldritch magic maybe at that point. But the leaders of these factions would most likely be, well, magically inclined. Focus more on intelligent creatures. Most likely the leaders of these factions will be magically inclined. Magically, or well, magically both divine and well, I'll just call it normal. I don't know if normal is the right word, but yeah, they will be inclined either way. So factions become more prominent and focus more on intelligent creatures. Most likely the leaders of these factions will be magically, divine and normal inclined. And I think that's where the first real rifts between these different factions will occur as well, where I think in the first 100 years there might have been some small fights between these bigger creatures, but I don't think it would be all that significant. While as soon as you have all these people around a greater leader that they all worship, and then maybe this underwater Triton worships the god of nature, while the other one worships the god of I don't know, order, and then both of them are interested in different things. Maybe one of them wants to keep they want to keep the water like it was and keep its beauty, and they want to respect the wildlife within it, while the other one wants to create order and wants to create society within this water, and these factions will start clashing with each other. And I think all these faction wars will break out. I don't think it will be, well, they won't be united like one against the other like giant wars yet, but it will definitely be these small faction wars all over the place, of people just wanting territory, people not agreeing with each other, maybe even just because of a difference in well, race is a weird word, but maybe just the creature that they are, just the different creature. Maybe merfolk or tritons will be pretty disagreeing with, well, I shouldn't say tritons, probably sea elves will always be pretty disagreeing with these creatures that they see as below them. I think there's also, like, sea elves are a bit of, I won't really include them within this because they would have societies from the beginning and structure from the beginning, so I think this is mostly focusing on the other creatures within the oceans. I think sea elves will have a pretty prominent place within the ocean since far before this time. And of course, I think they will have an influence upon it for the creatures within it to become similar to the sea elves, because they see that they thrive, and they see that they thrive because of society and because of the structures that they have built. So I think a lot of these creatures will try to emulate, or on the other hand, completely distance themselves from the way that these sea elves run the ocean. I talked a lot, but I don't know how to write this down. Most likely, the leaders of these factions will be magically divine and normal inclined. However, since there are now multiple factions whose beliefs and or race and or territory lie at odds with each other. There are now multiple factions. Wars will be breaking out left and right. I think that's a good example I wrote earlier. Maybe that's one I can even use for later. For example, a group of Triton worship Helia, the goddess of nature. They want to protect the ocean. Let me make this a bit longer. They want to protect the ocean and keep its... Let me move this a bit, I'm finding it hard to type. And keep its fauna and flora safe. They want to protect the ocean and keep its fauna and flora safe, while another group worships Diana, the goddess of order, and they wish to start a society seeing themselves above the normal creatures of the sea because of their difference in intelligence. Yeah, that could be cool. And then, for example, the ones that would worship Helia would have maybe like they would ride sharks, or they would use these creatures for their advantage in this war. Maybe having a lot of people like rangers or like druids as well, who bond with these creatures of the sea, while the other side, the ones that want order, seek their power less within the gods and more within magic, maybe, or within Atiana, more using their own willpower and intelligence to try to rule these creatures of the sea. And I think this outcome of this like main difference might have a big influence on the rest of the time. So I think we might do a little bit of this, a little bit of this. There we go. And then we do a bit of this. No, we don't do that. We do a bit of this. There we go. And we might do some rolling for that, to see how these wars go. Yeah, yeah, that sounds fun. Let me. So let me like this. Okay. So how does this war start? I'm thinking start. I think the group that worships Atiana kills a giant kraken that has ruled a part of the ocean for centuries. They take its territory and call it their own. It's this action that starts a major conflict between these two groups of Tritons. Again, these are probably one of many factions at this point, but I think this difference of idea of taking the territory from others or respecting the territory of the creatures that live there, it's more like, it's like, you know, in How to Train Your Dragon, if they like, you have one group that like makes friends with the dragon and then the other one that wants to like make them their slaves. I think it's kind of like that. Or maybe the creatures might still exist in the world where the ones that worship Atiana rule, but it won't be what am I saying? Yeah, it won't be as friendly, like they will have them captured and stuff like that. So how will they go about that? How many? Let us see. I think I'm gonna roll to see the alignments, to have a general idea how the two leaders of these two groups think. I think anything can go for these, since this is pretty early time still, so even like chaotic evil creatures can easily gain a following, similar to vampires, things like that. Why is it gone now? Oh, it's back. Yep, so I think we're just gonna roll 2 d9s and see where we're at. We have a 4 and we have a 6. So we have a chaotic good. Wait, no. Wait, I'm confused. Why is there 2 numbers? What is happening? This is the most confusing. Just give me another chart. Why every single picture puts them in a different order? Can we just make like a standard way to put it? Yeah, this is fine. Okay, so we have lawful, neutral, and we have chaotic, neutral. Well, that's not very interesting. I mean, it might be. It's fine. It's fine. Well, basically, so we have lawful against chaotic, and the chaotic ones would most likely be the druid ones, since Atiana stands for order, so it makes sense that they are lawful neutral, and then the other one's chaotic. So I think the Tritons that, let's give them a name so it's easier to distinguish them from each other. So we have faction 1, not fat. Faction 1. Followers of Helia. Faction 2. Followers of Atiana. Chaotic neutral. Lawful neutral. Nice. Where's my water? It's not here. 1 second, I'm getting some water. I will be right back. Stay safe, don't die. Where are we at? Crashing. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we have the followers of Helia, who are chaotic neutral. These people, druids. The main groups of these will be druids, clerics, nature boys, and their ideas is protect nature. Lawful neutral, we will have well, clerics as well. We will have more wizards. Their idea will be expand territory, make society. Okay, seems cool. Do I make a leader for them already? I think for now it doesn't really matter that much yet. I might do it later. So these followers of Atiana, have been in this part. Where's my thingy? Can I... Does this work? No. No, that's not working. What am I doing? Oh, I'm selecting the text instead of color of my pencil. Interesting. So we have the... let's do green for the nature boys. Wait, no, we already have a lot of green. We already have yellow. Let's just do blue and red. Wait, we have blue as well. Let's do white. Is there any colors that are not on this map? Red and orange. No, there's orange. Red and... let's just start with red. Okay. So we have this part. This is ruled by A for that's not an A, that's a line. A for Atiana. And then we have this part over here. There's a smaller part, it's just like more spread out as well. It's less organized. And that's gonna be wondered about by the H for... They still have structures and stuff like that, but it's way less extreme than these Atiana people. I think these will be the two major factions that are warring with each other. Yeah, just thinking a bit. So I have way too much text here. I could just make it smaller, but then you won't be able to see it anymore. But that is fine. Don't worry about it. It's gonna be alright. Stop worrying. We're just gonna do like that. Okay. Then wait. I had an idea. Don't worry about it. We are gonna change this, and we're gonna make this an E for later. And then the H is gonna go over here. That's black. It's not what I want to do. I can write my H already. That's not an H. I don't know what's... I don't know if it's lagging or if I just suck at drawing it. Either of those. Green. Good job. Wow. This part here. I know I'm making this map greater by the second. It's getting more and more understandable. I know this is very easy to look at and very professionally made. Okay, can I write? Thank you. Oh wait, you can't even see it. I forgot I have this still up. Sorry about that. This? And then this? Yeah. And then we have one more that's probably fine for now, probably gonna be A as well. Wait, no, I have an idea. Yeah, this is gonna be what's left of this is gonna be A, K. So we have 4 major factions, but these are only in 0, 1, 0 until 500. Then from... Wait, let me check my history real quick. Yeah, probably 501 till and then 701 till presence until now. Proteus. Okay. So I think faction 3, the Eldritch. Faction 4. Eldritch Cults will be the faction 3, that's the one on the bottom left over there, and then the fourth faction will be the monsters, the giants of the deep that are still remaining within this ocean. There will be giants. No, that sounds like actual giants, the monsters of the deep. Dragons, etc. They won't work together or anything like that, but they will take up a large part of the territory still. Actually, so let me... Oop. Okay, I'll put it like this. Main factions over time. So we have the 4 main factions. Then the only question is, which one did the current which one does the current society evolve from? Which is quite important for their relationship their relationships with the rest of the ocean, the rest of the land, to see how their general views are. Even they can even come from like the 4th faction, which would just mean like that there is this like very powerful sea creature that kind of, maybe it's even an intelligent sea creature that just manipulates these people in certain ways. That could fit in perfectly in the story as well. But it feels so bad to just roll a d4 for this. I feel like I would like to explore this more over time. Okay, I think this is a good start. I think now I will just go back to the beginning and just start telling the story, and I think I will gain new ideas as I'm going through this story, and maybe make up some things along the way, maybe focus on some characters here and there. Yep. Okay. So it is the year... In reality, it is the year 2500. The war between gods and man has just ended. They've put down their weapons for reasons yet unknown to many. However, as the war ends, a corruption starts seeping into the world, emanating from a place of worship, emanating from what was once a godly place, from Helen itself, the island where worshippers of Helia, the goddess of nature, would visit to worship that goddess, is now slowly getting corrupted with this power. However, with it also comes a new kind of tool, something different than the powers gifted by the gods, the divine powers used by clerics for many centuries before the Great War. But now, after the Great War, this new power enters the world, a power known now as magic. And as magic is new, it changes, it shifts, and it forms into giant creatures of the deep. It amplifies their powers, their presence, their territory within the oceans, corrupting some to become creatures weirder than the ones present at this time, or the ones known of so far. That is a problem for later, as now these giant krakens, sharks, and other deep-sea creatures rule the oceans, with mermaids and tritons scattering between them, not yet understanding the full intelligence that they have gained, not yet understanding the full powers of this magic that has been gifted to the world. However, it wouldn't be long before some of them start to realize. A triton, a deep sea triton, far below the waves, hangs or floats slowly in the ocean as a beam of blinking red light approaches him. As he touches it, as he reaches out towards it, the lamp that he uses in the, like, that goes from his head like any deep sea creatures, starts to at his turn to glow with a fade red light. And as he reaches towards the red pulsing light coming towards him, he feels like he can almost control it, like there's something he might be able to do with it. And it is so this creature survives, using this power to beat any who dare challenge him, to find food faster than any of the other creatures in this endless ocean, to defeat his enemies, and to gather a small group of other merfolk around him. They too are astonished by the powers given to this creature, to this friend of theirs, to this merfolk who was once equal to them, but now different in a way. And as the merfolk lies or floats, I should say, on his last lives, on the last years of his life, he looks towards his son and gifts him the powers granted to him. His son understands the importance of such magnificent power, and deep, deep below the ocean waves, he uses it to do something no deep-sea Triton has done before, to go to what they thought was the surface, to what they had seen as a magical place, almost like how we would see heaven. They saw the light above that no deep-sea Triton dared to venture to, but he could. The pressure of the water would slowly start killing the creature as he tries to go further and further to the surface. However, the power gifted to him would prevent any harm coming from him, for him. And it is so his shape changes over time, getting more used to the waters he resides within, and getting the now well-known form of a Triton. He is not the only one that did this, however, as these corrupted gifts were given all over the ocean to all kinds of creatures living both in the deep and the surface alike, as they gather groups of creatures similar to them around them, and they worship them as their leaders. Hundreds of years pass, and these creatures, passing these powers down from generation to generation, grow stronger over time. This continues. However, one day there is one such group, now grown to maybe 100 Tritons, who are attacked. A kraken, larger than any they have seen before, enters their small territory, their small village or town they had built for themselves, and starts wreaking havoc upon it. Many perish that day, but a few survive. A few Tritons who promise that that they have had enough of these deep-sea creatures taking away their territory, of these deep-sea creatures thinking they are the leaders of this vast ocean. More years pass as they stick to this dedication. Many of them look to the gods for help. They have felt their presence always, but they never reached out. However, now seeking order, seeking a will to survive, seeking a way to bring balance to this ocean, they pray to Atiana, the goddess of balance, to give them the power so they may show this kraken that they have as much right upon this ocean as the deep sea creatures below it. Atiana grants them this power. Over time, clerics of the Tritons grow powerful and strong. Their territory expands as one day a group of these clerics and wizards, fueled by the powers of Atiana, face the kraken once more, the same that ruined the village of their ancestors that many years ago, that many centuries ago. The same kraken still lives as they face down at it. The Kraken once more tries to defend itself, tries to reach out towards them, knowing its power is stronger than any who dare venture in his ocean. The Kraken, however, is met with surprise, as these tritons have grown in power, patiently waiting for the right time to strike. And strike they do. As they kill the Kraken, it falls deep below the ocean, back to the depths they once came from, banished to a place of creatures of lesser power. They now stand.
It was at this moment that
on
he
top.
knew. He fucked up.
They now stand on top of the surface of this ocean. They now stand on top of the chain of life. However, this action was not without consequences, as not everyone in this vast ocean had decided to join these worshippers of Atiana. Not everyone in this ocean was so glad to see its creatures perished. Some understood the deep sea creatures within it. They merely followed their instincts. It was not their fault that this village was destroyed. It was not their fault that they were made the way that they were. And instead of fighting against these creatures, these group of Triton managed to tame some of them, managed to work along with them, even managed to shape their very bodies to be similar to those of the creatures they worshipped is a strong word, but they had a bond with, at least. The slaying of the Kraken was the last drop for these followers of Helia, the goddess of nature, as they turned towards their brethren, the ones that dare slew a creature this mighty. And a war raged beneath the seas, as Triton fought Triton, using the power of their respective gods, using the power of the corruption given to them that many centuries ago. They fought each other. Unbeknownst to them, however, far below, deep in the crevices of the ocean itself, the place they once came from, the krakens that they banished, the deep sea creatures that they slew, did not all perish. For the corruption was given to them in that place, and so did it gift its power to these creatures of endless power, making their power greater than any ever witnessed. These eldritch creatures, shapeless and forever sunken beneath the waves, now roam the darkest parts of the ocean, seeking revenge for those who slew them, seeking revenge for all who live and serve the gods, seeking to destroy what the gods have built, seeking to destroy the world itself. They too are not without its worshippers. As a third faction arises and takes control of the ocean, these merfolk, shifted and changed by the eldritch creatures beneath the sea, no longer looking like tritons, no longer looking humanoid at all, some of them not even being able to utter the words they once could, returning back to the monsters they once were, no longer understanding the intricacies of intelligence. Their powers, however, not to be underestimated. It is these three factions that rule the ocean to this day. The group of Atiana is still the strongest among them, now being led by a Triton king named Proteus, as he seeks to gain control of all the ocean. He seeks to spread society and structure to the entire ocean floor. The ones that serve Helia are less structured, wandering the ocean. Among them, the sea elves, the ones that have lived far, far, far longer than any of the Tritons within within the faction that serves Atiana. They too seek to protect the creatures that are still left within this endless ocean. They too wish to see the ocean free, non-colonized. And then the third faction, the eldritch beings, the unspoken ones, the unimaginable ones, the ones deep below the ocean floor, the ones who only consume. Yeah, I think that's where we're at now. I think that seems good. Yep. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream, anyone who watched. I think I'm gonna call it here. I really like doing this. I think this is a fun way of creating some lore, to write it out a little bit first and then tell it from the beginning once more as a story. Yeah, that was fun. Okay. Thanks for watching. See ya.